Hey everybody, it's been a long time. Welcome back to the Little Miss Jacob Show. We're going to do an impromptu live. Roll the intro.
Bullies beware, she's calling it out. No room for doubt, she'll flip the whole out. This is the Little Miss Jacob Show, where the real ones rise and the rest lay low.
Hello. If you're new here, I'm Ariadna Jacob, otherwise known as Ari. And it's been a while. Last time I went live or did a video, we were talking about the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation. I was tracking a very impartial, or not impartial, or whatever, a judge that was writing novels about people she was ruling against, which I thought was insane. And then I got quite busy. I own a company called creatorgenius.com. We do short form content for medium and small business owners like plastic surgeons, authors, restaurants, hotels, all sorts of things, tennis stores, all kinds of clients. Anyway, so if you need that, shout out to my company. But here I am because, as many of you guys know, I have been a victim of unfair media coverage in the past. We don't like that. Uh-oh. You can't hear me? Uh-oh. Let's see. Wrong mic. Oh, it sounds like my computer mic. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see here. Audio. It's like not turned up all the way. Here we go. Thank you for letting me know. We always have technical difficulties on this side of town. Let's see. Roadcaster. Main studio. Is this any better? Let's see. Hello. Is it any better? I didn't just hear. Yeah, well, I mean, I have like a really cool setup, so you would think that like it would be nice and crisp. That's how we like it. Thanks for letting me know. If you guys can't hear me, I will have to figure it out later, but I'm glad you guys can hear me. Okay, so all right, let's talk about the case that's being twisted every which way online. This is the Fraser Bohm situation. Now, many of you guys have been following the Karen Reed trial, which I was watching and sort of lurking online about. I didn't really get super, we can hear it's good later. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys looking out for me because, to be honest, I do not do this full time. I sort of chime in when my blood starts to boil over unfair media coverage and people being unfairly, I guess, villainized in the media. This case is a bit nuanced, right? Because I don't think anybody's contesting the fact that Fraser Bohm crashed into 4 innocent, beautiful women from Pepperdine University in Malibu. But the way that everything has been framed is really upsetting to me because not only are people going after Fraser, but they're going after his family online, calling him a monster, the family, because they are assuming that they are so well off. I mean, I think there's no question that they have been successful. I don't know the details of the family and how they earn their money, but this is a criminal defendant, and it's not an eat the rich moment. You feel me? I don't care if someone is rich or poor. The true facts of this case need to come out in order for Fraser Bohm to have a fair trial and to be charged fairly. So I'm going to resurrect my YouTube channel, and maybe we'll be able to do a lot more. I don't know if any of you guys are business owners, but it's really hard to do both, right? And I'm definitely one of those people where I have ADHD, and if I don't focus on one thing, I get extremely, it's hard to be successful when you don't focus on one thing. But, like I just cannot stay silent when I see, I guess, just the media pile on to someone. And obviously, if you're a defendant and you've been charged with murder, you can't really speak out for yourself. And so some of you called me the turtle boy of the Fraser Bohm case, because Alan Jackson, the high profile attorney for Karen Reed, was just hired as his new defense attorney for Bohm. And there was, in the Karen Reed trial, a YouTuber journalist called Turtle Boy, Aiden, can't remember his last name, but he definitely spoke up vehemently in favor of Karen Reed, and was pretty much, I think, the reason why so many people heard about the case. Now, some people, I think, trying to, I guess, shade me, called me Turtle Girl. But I mean, I think it's kind of cute. And I used to love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. I think my favorite one was Raphael. But it's tough, right? Because like, I don't want to make like, 4 people lost their lives. So I don't want to like be too jokey. I mean, and like, this is obviously people are tuned in for entertainment, but I definitely don't want to make light of the fact that 4 people lost their lives, totally innocent people. And I definitely am not here to villainize any of them or their families. Like, it's terrible. But what's crazy is Kim says, be honored that they call you that. Yeah. So here's the thing. I guess if Turtle Boy stands for speaking out when the facts of a case are not being explored simply because the media or the prosecution has said something, I'm willing to stand up. And again, if you don't know me, go to my channel, Google me. I sort of famously sued the New York Times and Taylor Lorenz, a complete cry bully who used her power in the media to destroy my business and dozens of other people, doxed me, doxed libs of TikTok. I mean, it was a whole thing. But I came out of it, thankfully, alive in the sense that I have a career, I rebuilt myself, and I like to come online and talk about just because I learned basically how the media twists things. And just because a powerful media company like the New York Times writes something, or just because a prosecutor or district attorney says something, it doesn't mean it's true, okay? And hopefully that you, if you're watching this, you can understand that, what's right is for the truth to come out about any situation. I'm not sitting here saying that Fraser is completely innocent, has done nothing wrong, but there's just like, so this case again is like super nuanced. And the fact of the matter is that if you have ever driven on PCH in California, you know that people fly down that highway. And it's a highway, but it's also like a road that has like hundreds of people walking to the beach, walking alongside the road. There's no median. There's no like metal posts so that you don't run into the sidewalk. And so I guess let's get into the situation. I teamed up with Larry, the DUI guy. We've got some videos coming out, but I figured, hadn't been on live in a long time, and I got my YouTube studio back up and running. And so I'm like, all right, let's just do a stream to kind of like revive my channel, let you guys know what I'm doing, and hopefully get some questions, because obviously I'm not an attorney. It is a famous one that's like next to a cliff and a beach. Yeah, exactly. So I do consider myself like a media expert in the sense that if you've been canceled, I basically bootstrapped uncanceling myself with no money and sort of just my wits and Twitter and my relationships within the LawTube community. And so, yeah, I guess it's just like a passion project to speak out, and not just because of Fraser Bohm, honestly. I think, and I'll let you guys let me know what you think at the end of this, but I think that it's possible that some powerful people, at the time it was Gascon who was the district attorney. Now the district attorney is Nathan Hochman, who I honestly really like. I got to meet him. He was had a campaign where he was going against Gavin Newsom, where they were trying to get Newsom out. But anyway, he ended up as a district attorney, and he's awesome. But he didn't charge Bohm. It was Gascon who was up for re-election. Obviously, he didn't win. And this was a case where, 4 beautiful women were killed, and I don't know if there was pressure from Pepperdine or what, and from the families. Also, the families of the victims have civilly sued the city of Malibu because I think they're basically saying like the PCH has killed, I think, over at the time like 51 people have died on that road. I think since the Bohm case, even more people. I think it's like a total of 60 plus people have died, and people have. Caitlyn Jenner killed somebody. I think a 70-year-old man on that road, wasn't charged. I think had to pay, settle something with the families. But point is, I think that Fraser is the only one that's been charged with murder. And I just want to know why, because Fraser Bohm, I want to keep wanting to say Bohm, Fraser Bohm was not drinking. He was picking up tacos for his friends. I don't think he was on the phone. I need to dig in more. The transcripts are literally like 600 pages long. They had a pre-trial hearing, which is basically like, if I'm understanding correctly, in order to go forward with the charges and everything, you have to have like this pre-trial hearing where witnesses come in and testify, and then the judge decides if the case can go forward. And so that's kind of where we're at. Alan Jackson, Karen Reed's attorney, was just brought on. Literally, I think Fraser was about to be arraigned on July 2nd, where he goes in and makes a plea, and assuming he was going to plead not guilty. But Alan Jackson came in and was asking for a 30-day, basically 30 days, because he literally just got hired like 48 hours prior or something like that. So that's where we're at. And let's see here. Oh yeah, so okay, here we go. I'm pulling up my notes. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Okay, so here's what we know so far. Basically, I'm sorry. I do have a script, but I just don't want to read it word for word. Like I said, it's been a minute. It's like riding a bike and just back here, just doing my best. I'm behind, have to catch up. Okay, I'm going to do my best to catch you up. I think everybody deserves like a fair representation in court, right? Even if I do think that there's some culpability here, but let's talk about it. So we're going to be talking about the Fraser Bohm case, and this is basically the summary. A 22-year-old allegedly speeding on Pacific Coast Highway kills 4 Pepperdine students, and now there is a murder charge that's got the whole internet sort of foaming at the mouth, because everyone just came off the Karen Reed trial, and there is no Brian Kohberger trial anymore. And by the way, dawned on me that if Fraser gets convicted for murdering 4 people, second-degree murder, I guess he could face 15 to life per incident, which is basically like life in prison. And that's the same as what Kohberger got. So you're telling me that an accident on a road that's notoriously dangerous and the city knows it's been dangerous, hasn't done anything about it, they're going to obfuscate responsibility by making Bohm the poster boy for, setting an example because he's got wealthy parents and got a 2016 BMW gifted to him by his dad because he got a full ride baseball scholarship. I get that, just because he has a baseball scholarship or he's whether he's a good kid or bad kid, whatever, that doesn't bring back 4 lives. But the fact is that this was an accident. I really believe that and don't believe that Fraser intended to hurt anybody. I don't believe he was going 104 miles an hour on that highway. So what actually happened? Was he going 104 miles per hour? Did he flee the scene? Is this really a clear-cut case of reckless joyriding, or is the media, again, pushing narratives before the facts are fully understood? I read the court transcripts. I've reviewed, actually, no, I lied. I have read the first set, and I'm about to go to the second set. I've also, as many of you guys know, I work a lot with AI, maybe 30 different AI platforms for my business where we make short video clips. And I've also uploaded all those documents into a custom GPT so that basically I have an AI brain that knows everything, but you guys know AI is not always correct. So sometimes it when there's long documents, it misses things, but I'm going to do my best. And like I said, I'm going to be doing stuff with the DUI guy on his channel, my channel. But again, I just wanted to go live today to say what's up and let you guys know I'm here. And I did, there's a guy on X that's been really nice and has talked to me about, I think he's some kind of crash expert. I should really ask him what his experience is in in that realm, because he seems to know a lot. Adam Scott, so his profile is Chef CA Scott CCC, Adam Scott. So thank you, Adam Scott, for the breakdowns on that case. I really appreciate you. Oh, and thanks for retweeting the stream, Adam. I appreciate that. So we'll talk to experts online, experts in law. I happen to have a lot of fun legal friends and legal minds. So yeah, I'm back. And again, this isn't just about Fraser Bohm. This is about how we decide guilt in the court of public opinion, how the media weaponizes tragedy for social media clicks, and how nuance gets lost when people want a villain more than they want the truth. So if you care about facts over headlines, due process, and actually understanding what's going on, I hope you stay tuned. This is going to be a fun deep dive. Now today, since I'm live, what should we cover? Okay, so I think what we should do is maybe go through some of the headlines that came out on this. Oh, there he is. Adam Scott is in the chat, everybody. The car guy from X. Wait, okay, so can you tell me why do you know so much about cars? I mean, this is interesting to me. You really broke down everything. I'm assuming that you were deep in the Karen Reed trial. People in court say malice aforethought, a critical element just distinguishing murder from other forms of homicide like manslaughter. Okay, so let's see here. I'll tell you guys what, we might as well just put what Adam said about, because a lot of people are like, he's going 104 miles an hour. Like, this is, if you didn't realize that that could hurt somebody, then like something's wrong with you. And like, I definitely understand that logic, I guess. You know, it's like somebody's going 104 miles an hour. That's super reckless. That's like, even on the, you know, complete freeway, you don't want to be going that fast. But I don't believe he was going that fast. And Adam, he commented on some of these posts. Okay. So he said, here, I'm going to bring it up, share it on screen. Actually, you know what? Let's just go through this whole thread because, sorry, my bad. Let's go through this thing I posted. All right, share the screen. All right, let's see if Adam responded and said what I know so much about all this stuff. He said, I'm just a car guy. I own a, jeez Louise. I'm just a car guy. I own a small repair shop here in Germany. Okay. Cool. And thank you for all your help trying to understand. Oh, what's up, Nate, the lawyer? Oh my goodness. He says, OMG, I caught you live. Hope all is well to one of my favorite people in the world. Much love. Hey, I miss you, Nate. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Yeah, here's the thing too, is like, I mean, I don't know. What I think is interesting is when the media like goes off on like little tangents, right? Like they went through Fraser Bohm's mom and dad's divorce proceedings or whatever to like figure out how rich this kid was, and like that the car was gifted to him, blah, blah, blah. And I just don't understand what that has to do. I don't know if this is like, people still say this. My mom used to, or like, I feel like it's like, what does that have to do with the tea in China? Or the price of tea in China? Is that like still a saying? Anyway, I don't understand what it has to do with anything. And the fact of the matter is, I really think that this could have happened to anyone. Ever since I started looking into this and tweeting about it and stuff, I started paying attention to like everything I do when I drive, because, you know, it's very, so if you are, what is it called? Like people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. It's kind of like that. I mean, if you've never picked up your cell phone, and by the way, from what I understand, Bohm was not on his cell phone at all during this crash. But anybody's ever sped, I don't care if you're talking 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour. Anybody who's ever sped or has a kid who has sped while driving shouldn't be throwing stones, because this literally could happen to anyone. And if you are from California, you've ever driven down PCH, you know that like going 55, 60, okay, so 50, I feel like a lot of people try to keep it, if they're going over the speed limit, they try to keep it like 15 under the speed limit, right? So that's where you feel like, okay, probably not going to get pulled over, you know, not going the exact speed limit, but like probably not going to get in trouble for doing this, and it's not like super dangerous, right? Do you think that everybody on the freeway goes 65 miles an hour? I think I've seen people go up to like 80 without any like real worries about causing harm, especially if they're not on their phone and they're just paying attention to the road, right? You can agree with me or disagree with me, but I think like 15 over the speed limit is usually like not considered completely reckless. So let's just say if you agree with me on that, you're talking 45, 50. So 60 is like about as fast as you should be going. 70 miles an hour, now that's like speeding, but is that like murderous, reckless rage speeding? Arguable, right? So I think that's how fast Fraser was going, about 70 miles an hour on that road. And now he's being, and now, like, look at these headlines. I mean, it's insane. Present. By the way, Nate, the lawyer, was the one who told me to just call it the Little Miss Jacobs Show. I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. I was like trying to call it something else before, and I'm like, yeah, it's just a lot easier, probably easier to remember the Little Miss Jacobs Show. And then I did like a whole, I made like a little song on the Suno. It's fun. So, all right, I'm going to share some of the tweets I've done because I did a lot of research before I posted these. Here we go. All right. So, can you guys see this? Let's see if you can even see. I feel like such a rookie right now. It's so weird that I haven't like been here in a long time. All right. "104 miles an hour. That's the speed prosecutors say that Fraser Bohm was going when he crashed on PCH, but that number comes from raw black box data that experts say is flawed and possibly inflated." Karen Reed's Alan Jackson was just hired on as Bohm's defense attorney. So here we go with this thread. So of course the LA Times, they post, "Driver sped at 104 miles per hour in Malibu, crash that killed 4 Pepperdine students." And here's the little caveat that they always add, comma, DA says. So now everybody thinks that is gospel. And that's what I don't like about this stuff. And that's why I'm speaking out. Because I don't believe that to be true. Okay. Quite the headline if you're this kid that is like now afraid for your life, right? And that on TikTok I posted some videos and like the girls friends, I think, were just like, how could you defend this kid? Like, he killed 4 people. This is terrible. And like, it just felt terrible because I don't not feel bad for them. Like, I do, but I just think facts matter. And somebody had commented here, "You forgot a large piece of the story. The data showed that Bohm was going 104 miles an hour 2 seconds before the first impact and 99 at the time of the impact." So let's talk about what is the black box. It's called an event data recorder, EDR. And cars have them to improve safety, not to be perfect forensic tools in criminal trials. So how does it measure speed? It doesn't use GPS or radar. It averages the speed from wheel speed sensors. So I think it's like placed like right near the wheel. But wheel sensors aren't built to tell you true ground speed, especially in a crash. In a crash, wheel speed gets messy. Wheels lock up, ABS pulses rapidly, and if the car lifts even slightly, wheels can spin freely in the air. All of that inflates speed recordings. So this is kind of like, I think this is an example of what the thing looks like. All right. There's a 0.5 second delay. The black box may show speed from after the crash started, not before. So if you see 104 miles per hour, that could be from when the car was spinning, airborne, and already losing control. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if it's up in the air and it's and it's like recording how fast the wheels are spinning, not how fast the car was going on the ground. So what does 104 miles per hour really mean? It's an average of the wheels at one moment in time. If they were all spinning fast, that can mean skid, ABS, airborne wheels, not necessarily the car was actually moving at 104 miles per hour on the pavement. There's also unknown data. The EDR shows missing info for key moments. That's important. Could mean sensor failures or disrupted readings, which means you can't go off of that one number to charge somebody with murder. It makes the whole picture more incomplete than the headlines make it sound. How can they just say that when that's not even proven? I mean, I guess you can say anything that was the prosecutors, the DA says. But if we put it all together, the number 104 likely isn't real road speed. And using it as a basis for second-degree murder, a murder charge, aka implied malice, it's shaky at best, right? So In plain English, the black box wasn't made to tell exact speed. Its data can be skewed during crashes. Fraser's car could have been going much slower than 104. Witnesses put him going about 70. And what I don't understand is why the media and even like Law and Crime, I believe the other day, just ran with that 104 number. Everybody's sort of going off the testimony of, well, there was, I think, a crash expert or a police officer that reported in the transcript. So we'll go through that later. But also this Victor Calandra, this is who the defense alleges was basically like a road rage guy that was somehow implied to be part of the accident, or he instigated so that Fraser could get out of the way, or like basically get away from him because he freaked him out and he was like in an angry rage or something like that. We need to like investigate more. Allegedly, I don't know that much about Victor Calandra quite yet, but what I think is that if you are if you witness a car accident and after it you're like, oh shoot, it could look like I had something to do with this. I could see a situation where you point the blame at the guy who everybody saw actually crashed into the girls, right? Nobody knew what happened after that. And I think it would be wise if the police had investigated him and the other driver of the scene. How fast were they going? Where are they on their cell phones? Like, I'm curious, right? But this is why it matters for Fraser's case, because prosecutors are using that 104 miles per hour number as a cornerstone for reckless disregard for life. But if the real speed was closer to 70 miles per hour, as multiple witnesses suggest, this kind of changes things, in my opinion. So this isn't about excusing reckless driving. It's about questioning this like shaky data and to justify the murder charge. So this is what Adam Scott said. He said the two most damaging facts so far is that I think he's saying for the prosecution, is the admission that the ACM can be as much as 0.5 seconds delayed with no validation through other modules. And two, the admission that the car tires left the ground while in motion. It throws the wheel speed sensor data completely out the window. And yeah, I mean, I agree that is yeah, it's questionable, this whole part. So let's see here. Let me go back into the comments because I'm so ADD. I like can't read comments and stream at the same time. So yeah, the fact that it could happen to anyone terrifies me also. I'm with you, Kim. I can't stand mainstream media either sometimes. But I mean, it's kind of cool that I think in the last however many years, it's, you know, the internet community has really like stepped up for I don't know, just the truth, right? And it's like, it's kind of fun sometimes to just dig into something, like, because just the media twists things. And again, like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it matters, like, I mean, would it matter if they'll always find something, right, to villainize somebody? Like, if this was like a poor kid that was like in a gang or something, it would get, you know, people would be mad because he was in a gang, whatever it was. I don't know. But I'm saying, like, this just happens to be like a squeaky clean, seemingly person that happens to have wealthy parents, which we don't know if they're still wealthy after all this was said and done. I went on YouTube and there were like, people were saying all kinds of things about his mom, like, maybe you should raise your kids better. And it's like, okay, like, have you ever sped on the freeway? I really like, I mean, would it matter if he was in a Honda Civic versus like a BMW? Tell me what you guys think. All right, one thing I wanted to play, and I want to give credit to this creator because I think it took a lot of work for them to make all these diagrams. I know how to do some of that stuff, but it's extremely time consuming. And so I'm not going to play the whole video, but I definitely suggest that you guys go and watch his stuff, or this full video, but like I want to play some parts of it because it's really important that people understand like what is PCH, why is it totally not unheard of for people to go, for people, why are people speeding on that road, and why is it so dangerous, and why is it important that we don't let the city of Malibu, Caltrans, the former district attorney, or the prosecutor shift the scrutiny that should be on the city because of how dangerous this road is. Like, they need to do something. And if me speaking out about this helps so that one traffic light gets installed, or one of those speed cameras gets installed, literally anything, a median. I mean, they're going to have to build infrastructure, I think, if they want to change this. But if I can like start a Turtle Boy-esque spark to look into Caltrans, look into the city of Malibu, to look into California, because remember, just not too long ago, the city of Malibu experienced a horrible wildfire emergency. And if you look at pictures of PCH, it's so different now than it was when this crash happened in Malibu. There were houses all along the side there that are all burned down now. And so if there was ever a time to build, to reconfigure the road, to reconfigure that whole area, it's now. And if things aren't being done, then like, why? And I think that's really a huge part about why I wanted to cover this. Full disclosure, like I'm not in contact with Fraser or anybody in his family or anything like that, but I did meet him, and he seemed to me like a decent person that is afraid that he's going to go to jail for the rest of his life, and his life's over. And he, I think, has been in a very dark place since this happened, and I just really feel for that, because I think people might get mad at me, but I think he's like a victim of that road as well. And definitely a victim of unfair or like egregious prosecution, whatever they call it, like where they're overreach in the prosecution, right? And Adam Scott says, the Bohm family isn't even that wealthy for the area he's in. I don't see Malibu jury being all that impressed with their money, right? And I don't even know how that plays out. Like, can they even talk about that, like, in court? I mean, I guess they can say whatever they want about him in their opening, like, oh, this is like a rich kid who didn't care, like, he didn't care about human life. I don't know. I do know that Fraser, after the crash, had a brain bleed, and I don't know what he said to police. We're going to be able to figure out those details when I go through the transcripts. But if you had a concussion, or you have a brain bleed and you're in shock, and like you have like probably PTSD because you're looking at what just happened, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is, I mean, I can't imagine. You'd definitely be in shock. He gets dragged out of the car by this other driver that, basically got painted in the press as like a hero that like, tackled him down on the ground or something like that. But from what I understand, he dragged Fraser out of the car, screamed at him, said something about him being an MFer, and said, I sat with him because I was afraid he was going to, you were afraid he was going to leave the scene, or he was trying to leave the scene. I'm pretty sure in his testimony he says, I was afraid he was going to leave the scene. It's like, that's not the same thing. So why post it in the newspaper or whatever? Why do these news organizations pick up like, oh, he was fleeing the scene? Or he didn't say, they don't say that he was fleeing. They say, people or it's alleged that he was leaving the scene, something like that. But by all measures of my research so far, he was not leaving the scene. So then, they sit him down. He's at this this crash site, and he's basically in shock, and they're asking him questions. Were you on your phone? Probably we're going to go into it, but I'm pretty sure he was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe, do you know how dangerous this road is? Yeah. Do you know how dangerous speeding can be? yeah, my friend died in a car accident in the past. Oh, so you do know that speeding kills. Ah, so you had malice aforethought or whatever. I don't know if that's the case, but I think that's where the prosecution is going, where the media is going. Is like he. And what's crazy is that there was a girl, a gal, an influencer. I mean, again, like who cares? She's an influencer, but this is what drives the headlines, right? Influencer crash Malibu PCH. All right, so this girl was driving under the influence, and she was charged with vehicular manslaughter, I believe. So it just like, why is it that Fraser's being treated differently? That's what I don't understand. So,
social media influencer behind bars tonight, accused of causing a deadly crash that killed a man along PCH on the 4th of July.
KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers back at the desk now. Mike, it happened when that influencer drove into oncoming traffic.
Yeah, that's right. And ultimately took that man's life. He was driving a black Cadillac.
So this woman drove into oncoming traffic while under the influence.
She was in a Mercedes. The civil lawsuit says.
And again, this is a caveat that we're watching mainstream media. So I haven't dug into Summers' case. You know, perhaps is a bit irresponsible because we're talking about all the media lies, but they didn't say allegedly or people witnessed. It says she was driving on the wrong side of the road. But again, this could be wrong. We could look into it further.
That Mercedes was owned by her company and that she was at a party at the Nobu restaurant just down the road. We'll show you some video here of her summer.
So if you guys have never been to California, Nobu's like this like fancy place. Like Diddy used to throw his white parties there. I don't know if it was Diddy. No, sorry, Diddy used to throw them at like a house. But there used to be like a big white party, and like Leonardo DiCaprio went and all that. I went there one time, and I met some famous people. It was cool. This was like a long time ago.
Wheaton is who we are talking about. LA County Sheriff's Department announced today that they have arrested her and charged her with gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, driving under the influence of alcohol causing bodily injury, and driving under the influence of alcohol with a blood alcohol content higher than 0.08%. That is a picture.
I wonder what her blood alcohol was because it didn't say.
Of her being led into the Lost Hills Sheriff Station, much different from those other photos that you saw. This is the crash. That's her white Mercedes, totally banged up. This all happened on the 4th of July. The victim's family now suing her as well as Hwood Group, which is her employer.
So Hwood Group is like a really big restaurant and like nightclub group that knows all celebrities and throws these events.
And Nobu, suing the Nobu and the Hwood Group, saying that they should not have let her drive after she consumed that much alcohol. LA County Sheriff's Department says they've investigated this since July. They say she crossed over into oncoming traffic, and that is when she hit the man.
Okay, so police say that she drove into oncoming traffic.
And killed him. She herself only sustained very minor injuries, was ultimately treated and released, and now she's behind bars. Guys?
Okay, Mike, thank you very much.
All right, so yeah, I don't know when they made that report, but anyway, that's the gist of this other person. They weren't not charged with murder. So okay, so here we go. I want to show you guys some of these comments. He admitted that he had previous road rage incidents, so I believe he said something that scared Fraser that night. Right, the Victor Calandra, allegedly, he said something, and on cross he admitted that he had previous road rage incidents in the past. So we'll look into that as well once I do some more research. Adam Scott says he wasn't fleeing. He had to be removed from the vehicle and was seen sitting on the curb. Right. Yeah, I saw that too. People in court says, I don't want to be the one to say this, but being a well-to-do white boy isn't going to help him here. Yeah. In the court of public opinion, I mean, that's really why I don't think anybody's covered this, because nobody feels bad. And that's what's crazy is like, you know, I've done, like my last series was about a billionaire that filed for bankruptcy, one of his companies. And the judge wrote a novel where she writes about a hedge fund manager with this company. And anyway, she basically writes a book villainizing a guy that she's literally presiding over his case. And, nobody really cared about it because it happened to a wealthy guy. And it's just like, that just stuff like bothers me. It's like, if it can happen to a wealthy guy, if it could happen to Fraser Bohm, it could happen to you. So maybe it's important that we put some eyeballs on this road so that somebody else, doesn't also get killed on this very dangerous road and stretch highway. Like, we should be putting pressure that PCH should be fixed. And second of all, that maybe somebody like a Caitlyn Jenner or whoever, Caitlyn Jenner is famous, but like somebody else doesn't hurt somebody on that road as a complete accident and get charged with murder because of optics, because of the government wants to make you a scapegoat. I don't like that, right? So that's why we're talking about this. And you're right, they are going to, I guess they have already gotten public perception on their side, the prosecutors, until I started speaking up. And obviously when they hired Alan Jackson, that was like big news coming off the Karen Reed trial. But even when Alan got hired on this case, I didn't see anybody speaking up about it. And I think it's, so anyway, I'm glad. Thank you guys that are tuning in. Thank you guys that are having an open mind about this. I'm not saying that there's zero culpability. I just think that if you're going to go after somebody, you have to look at the facts. You have to look at all the information. Was there anybody else involved that could have, I don't know if you guys, I've heard of people that are in like a multi-car crash. And like, even if you're somewhere in the line of that crash, you could be blamed, or your insurance doesn't cover it because it's also your fault or whatever. I feel like there's tons of situations like that. So what is the full story? That's what I'm curious about. And all right, so I wanted to play this video. Like I said, go follow this guy and watch the whole thing because it's really good. All right. I hate how StreamYard won't like show. All right, maybe I'll go this way. There we go. All right, let's play this.
This is one of the most beautiful and dangerous stretches of road in Southern California. It's called PCH, or the Pacific Coast Highway. The route extends for hundreds of miles up the California coast, and scenic ocean views like this have made it a legendary road for locals and travelers alike. But
that's what it looked like before the devastating fires, by the way. And by the way, if you're know anything about fires, there wasn't enough water in like the tanks or whatever for the firemen to put out the fires. There's like all these like issues where California basically wastes money that taxpayers are giving so that they're safe, so that their roads are safe and all this stuff. And like, where's all that money going? And who's making sure that the money's being spent on fixing these issues, right? Like, because otherwise it's going to cause another tragedy. Like, come on.
Out here in Malibu, which is just outside of LA, PCH is better known as a road where you could easily be killed. Whether you're a driver just trying to make a turn or a pedestrian crossing the street, the risk that you'll be struck and killed is high, no matter how much attention you pay personally to the road. Like its name suggests, PCH was designed as a highway, so many people treat it that way by driving well past its 45 to 50 miles per hour speed limits.
Isn't that insane? Wait, let's go back to this part. This was like crazy to me.
Well past its 45 to 50 mile per hour speed limits. Its long, scenic stretches with no stoplights for a mile at a time are almost an open invite for speeding. But these same postcard views are what attract many beachgoers and tourists to the area. Instead of making adequate space for these people, the state of California dedicated almost all of Malibu's original right-of-way for 4 to 6 lanes of car traffic and on-street parking.
So let me make this bigger. Do you guys see that? You see how there's like So this side of the road, I wish I had like a pointer or something. You can't really see my thing, but right here on the red, that's where I believe that's basically where the girls were being dropped off in an Uber and they got out, and that's how the crash happened because they were on the roadside. I believe, I don't know. It could have been on the other side of the car, but something tells me that they were getting out on this side. But I don't know. We'll have to look at that. Unfortunately, like the stuff that I've seen or the like transcripts and stuff, it doesn't come with the videos that were shown in court. So
entire miles of it go without adequate sidewalks today or medians to
they were getting out of the car. Yeah, they weren't in the car. They were like pedestrians basically at that point.
protect people against head-on collisions. This lack of space for pedestrians meant that Caltrans
Here, let me go back a little
all
bit.
of Malibu's original right-of-way for 4 to 6 lanes of car traffic and on-street parking. So entire miles of it go without adequate sidewalks today or medians to protect people against head-on collisions. This lack of space for pedestrians meant that Caltrans didn't leave any space for them to walk safely alongside the road. And this is what that feels like. Navigating through this can be a terrifying experience. This becomes even more deadly when steep turns exist on the road, causing speeders to flip their cars over or crash into pedestrians trying to navigate on the side of the road. There's perhaps no better
Like the main issue is that there's so many pedestrians. Like during the day, there's people going to the beach, but at night, it's really hard to see. And there's not as many police officers like manning the road and giving speeding tickets and whatnot.
example of that on PCH than what residents named Dead Man's Curve just behind Carbon Canyon Road. Just a few months ago, a horrific wreck happened at this exact spot, which took the lives of 4 students walking to a party from their college nearby.
I think they were going to like a frat party or something like that, or a college party. They were Pepperdine sorority girls.
They were killed when a driver going over 100 miles per hour lost control of his car and smashed into a bunch of...
See, I mean, even this guy, he said when a driver going over 100 miles an hour. So he already like said the narrative. And I understand it. It's like hard sometimes when you don't, like that article that we looked at. It's like it kind of said it made it seem like it's been proven, but that's not true. So I don't know if KTLA reported that. We got to look into later.
Parked cars on the side of the road. Right after this happened in October, the public reacted with fury and demanded a bunch of changes come to PCH. And it wasn't just because of this accident, it's because it was just the latest in a string of way too many of them. Since 2010 alone, 58 people have been killed in collisions here. So outraged with these stats, people in Malibu and all throughout LA took their case to Caltrans, which is the primary agency in the state that's responsible for redesigning PCH. And a couple of months...
So I think, well, we can look at it later, but I think that Caltrans came out with like some statements, like saying they were going to fix things, but like I think 7 of those things have actually gotten fixed. It's kind of wild.
Months later, the head of that agency came down to Malibu to make a giant announcement.
I talked to our team and I said, this is going to be the #1 priority as far as safety goes in our state.
Listening to this at first,
He just said that this is going to be the #1 priority. But let's go back. Let's listen to that one more time. That's wild.
It's going to be the #1 priority as far as safety goes in our state.
As far as safety goes in our state, that's what Caltrans literally said. What's been done? Let's see.
Listening to this at first, you'd probably expect to hear a bunch of radical or substantial changes coming your way. But here's the actual plan that he then proceeded to announce. First, they're going to add 10 new speed feedback signs, which tell you how fast you're going.
Can you guys see this? These are the feedback signs. These right here is where I can't make it bigger, but it's just basically they tell you what your speed is. Wild.
And clearly work in getting people to go the speed limit. And second is they're going to add optical speed bars at 10 different locations. And if you've never heard of those before, well, I haven't either. I looked it up and it basically just involves painting these white lines on a road so that it creates an optical illusion that a driver is actually moving faster than they really are. These apparently
So those, I don't know how much that works to slow people down because, like, again, when you're on that road, it seems like these people go really fast anyway. Sorry, my sound is being weird. I don't know why it's being so loud on my headphones. Okay.
work in slowing people down at first, but over time they learn to go around them and that it's an illusion. Moving on to the third proposed change that Caltrans is bringing is that they're going to restripe 11 existing crosswalks on PCH. Yup.
We're gonna re-stripe the crosswalks as if like nobody can see them. Okay.
Restripe. But this doesn't address.
By the way, this creator's channel is let's see here, so you guys can LEJ Explains, and the title of the video is called "The Pacific Coast Highway is Dangerous. Can we fix it?"
Rest the main way that pedestrians are struck in Malibu, which is crossing the road where there is no crosswalk. People often have to.
You see that? Let me make this bigger. You see that when people are like not going 45 on this road. I don't know if this part of it is 45 an hour, or miles per hour, but like they're not going. It's basically like you're on the freeway, and then there's pedestrians everywhere.
Wait up to 5 to 6 minutes here just to cross the road safely without resorting to a real-life game of Frogger. The last major change that Caltrans is going to do is to simply install 30 new warning signs about the rules of the road and the speed limit. Oh, and they're going to paint the speed limit on the road too, once every mile. But the only thing these signs are going to
So they're going to paint the speed limit on the road once every mile. Okay, so all they're really doing, or all they've agreed to do, oh, I see. This is why you're saying it's on, I'm like, so the funny thing is, hang on a sec. Is that what you guys were saying? That's a terrible place for it. What's funny is like on my screen, it looks like the opposite. I don't know why it's like mirrored. That's hilarious. Okay, my bad. I just noticed that. Okay. Well, on StreamYard, it's showing right now that it's like over my face. And anyway. Stream is harder than it looks. Yeah, but you know what? Somebody said that. They're like, that's a terrible place for it. But if you saw it on my screen, like now it looks like it's over my head. So the whole thing is like kind of bizarre. Hilarious. Okay, well, oh well. Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
Do is remind people not to break the law. It's not going to make it harder for them to speed on PCH, and it definitely isn't going to make it more likely that they'll get caught speeding on PCH and punished. And luckily, it seems like this is coming on the horizon. But before I get into that and talk about the enforcement solutions coming to PCH, I want to analyze what could be done to the road itself. There's a lot of engineering solutions out there which Caltrans didn't even appear to talk about in their list of changes.
That's what's so weird, is like, why didn't Caltrans talk about what else that they could do, right, to fix, yeah, it's just so weird. Sorry, I'm just going to make sure that yeah, but the video is small. It's right on your face. Yeah. Okay. Is it still over my face? Yeah, Kim O'Brien says this is the worst fix I've ever heard. And I think Adam said something up here. He said he wasn't just, oh, sorry, no, there was something else He said, that's why I think they're going so hard at Fraser. If he's guilty of murder, then it wasn't the road's fault, and they can take limited measures. Agreed. So let's look at this.
None of the 4 changes on this list have anything to do with a major concept called road dieting.
So this is what I really liked about this creator talking about road dieting. And like, I think if you're watching this, definitely go back and watch this video, because he talks about all the things that you could do. Like, I'm going to play a little bit of this, and then we'll keep going because I don't want you guys to not go watch this
which
video.
is essentially reconfiguring a road so that it's accessible for all road users and not just drivers. This primarily involves taking away a vehicular travel lane so that it can be replaced with a bike lane or a bus lane.
That
And
would
this
be
clip
smart.
of Culver City is a good example. But doing that to PCH
So this is one that I guess already exists in Culver City. So you see that there's in the green, there's a bike lane and then a bus lane.
is going to be a particularly interesting challenge because it's hemmed in on both sides with tough topography.
But before, when this video was made, these houses were there. I don't believe that they're there anymore. Like, let's see, PCH houses after Malibu fires. Let's look this up really fast. Okay. So what does it look like now? Let me show you guys. This is basically what it looks like now. I mean, it's destroyed. All the houses are destroyed. So if there was ever a time to reconfigure this road and do what he's saying in the video, it would be like, now would be a good time type thing.
beach on one end and mountains on the other. Plus, this is a road which is used by tens of thousands of people as a commuting path to get into the San Fernando Valley. Because road diets can introduce horrible traffic conditions if they're not done properly,
he's calling it a road diet. So the issue with the road diet is that it's going to back up, you know, like PCH is going to be all backed up with cars trying to commute and whatnot. And that is going to be a pain in the butt for people, but like pain in the butt or lives lost, right? And what's more important? And what are they doing to, you know, do something about this?
We need to be really careful about where we do that on PCH, because the areas closest to the city and the Santa Monica Pier tend to be the most congested with people traveling to go to the Topanga Canyon route to the San Fernando Valley. Right now, this section is largely 3 lanes on each side or 2 lanes, and I'm worried taking away one here for a full-on road diet might enrage a lot of the public who need to come this way with their cars. But this is not the case if we go just a little bit up the road, about a few miles away.
I think we need, like, we're going to have to do like an update here because, like I said, a lot of those houses aren't even there anymore. So, you know, I think that, that's a big question here. And you know, maybe I have a couple friends that live in Malibu. Maybe I'll go visit them. Well, not in Malibu anymore, like anyway, the point is I can get to California and we can do a deep dive on this thing.
This is Topanga Canyon Road where it meets PCH. And in my opinion, most of PCH beyond this point is what should be targeted for road dieting. The first thing that's beyond obvious to me about what this stretch needs is medians.
Medians.
They're not going to do a whole bunch in terms of reducing speeding, but what it will do is significantly reduce the chance of head-on collisions and improper turns. According to a 10-year survey of accidents on PCH, that was one of the most common causes of fatal accidents. And although the lack of a median allows people to make...
Here's the other thing too, that like maybe the median wouldn't have helped in the Fraser case, but thing is, like, the more, I guess, the more careful you have to drive so that you don't hit the median. Because, you know, like, I don't know how about you guys, but like if I'm driving and there's like a wall on this side, a median on this side or whatever, I'm like a lot more careful and drive, you know, because if you could crash into it and kill yourself, right? I think that if you're driving at night and it's hard to see, you know, you can't see pedestrians and that kind of thing either. He also talks about another type of road thing here.
U-turns wherever they want to, we can just add these little turn pockets every few hundred feet or so. The other thing medians will do is allow pedestrians to cross the road much safer. This would involve adding a little opening in the median for pedestrians to cross safely, along with a marked sidewalk. A great place for that, as an example, would be Moonshadows, which is a popular restaurant, but its employees have to get off the bus on the other side of PCH, or park here, and then cross the road without any form of protection. It's crazy to me that Caltrans
Yeah.
never mentioned adding a crosswalk to places like this. But even if we add more crosswalks, we still need to address the fact that it's dangerous to walk alongside the road. That's why I think the biggest possible change we can make to PCH is removing a lane so that we can create a mixed-use sidewalk shared by pedestrians and cyclists. We would have to install bollards to make that happen, and real ones, not just these plastic
they're
ones
called
that you see all
bollards.
around LA. Or we could use K-rail, which is otherwise known as a Jersey barrier, and these are cheaper and
K-rail.
probably a better thing to install
Jersey
here.
barrier.
It's
Okay,
going to be difficult.
so I'm gonna put a pin in this. Go watch this video, but there's a lot of like random background noise here going on for me. I don't know why. Does it sound bad for you guys or no? I'm just going to post this video because I think I'm about to be done. I don't know, guys. I feel like there's a lot more. Like I said, I'm going to go on with make some content with DUI guy and probably some of my other lawyer friends on YouTube. I'm gonna figure out how to stream. It's like, as somebody, literally, you guys, I used to consult with companies on MySpace advertising, like how to, like making videos on MySpace and like hiring, local influencers on MySpace. So I've been this game for a long time. You'd think that, like, if you go back to this channel and look up my very first video, it was like in 2009. But somehow I'm just like, I always have issues with streaming. All right, let me just read some of the last comments, and then I hope you guys follow my channel and the DUI guy's channel so you can keep up with his case. I haven't seen really that many people covering it fairly. Maybe before I sign off, we can watch some of the law and crime one. Although, like, are they like slap happy? Do you guys know? Do they get mad if you show their stream on YouTube? Like, I get, I don't want to get any like demerits on my account. Yeah. So there was a civil. There's been civil lawsuits. I believe the city of Malibu is suing Fraser and his parents. The city, the victims, some of the victims' families are suing the city of Malibu. So let's see here. Having no visual cues makes drivers pay closer attention to the road and their driving habits. Much safer to just remove everything. Interesting point. Yeah, what the hell are they doing then? Just fix the freaking road. Yeah, so Kim says that they did, I think that what they said, the road dieting in her city. The city is suing him. Yep. Well, maybe I'll save the other report for next time. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I will plug my channels. I'm Little Miss Jacob absolutely everywhere except for YouTube, where I can't get into my Little Miss Jacob YouTube channel. So I'm at Influences on YouTube, and on Instagram, I actually just revived my old, I used to represent social media stars, and my company was called Influences. And since the, I guess, kind of like unfair media takedowns and that kind of thing is a whole thing in and of itself, I'm kind of pivoting all the Influences channels to with all the coverage of trials and unfair takedowns and mainstream media stuff. I also might start to cover the Ethan Klein lawsuit, but mainly his beef with Taylor Lorenz. And Taylor was the woman who, the cry bully and woman fake journalist that feigns victimhood and yet tries to destroy other people. They have an interesting beef going on. I don't know if you guys are like aware of like internet drama, but like H3 Ethan Klein is like this huge YouTuber, and it's funny because like when I was suing Taylor Lorenz, like they wouldn't cover my story, but now like he's getting smeared by Taylor, so maybe he'll hear me out this time. But yeah, she definitely is evil. I've forgiven her, and I try not to be negative in terms of, you know, she's so irrelevant, and she spends her time just saying the most ridiculous things for clicks, like how, I mean, I think she has a crush on Luigi Mangione, and the guy that, you know, is alleged to have killed the United Healthcare person. Anyway, she just is like a rage bait, clickbait monger, and sometimes it's just fun to see her sort of, you know, you reap what you sow sometimes. But look, like I said, if anybody can get behind making PCH safer, whether you think Bohm is guilty of murder or not, or a lesser charge, then let's take a look at this, and let's put some pressure on. Caltrans says it's their number one thing that they're doing. Okay, so like, how much money does Caltrans get? Let's just see, like, you know, how much money funds Caltrans? See if we can pull it quickly. Okay, the California Department of Transportation, Caltrans, is proposed to have a budget of approximately $18.7 billion for the upcoming 2025-2026 fiscal year, according to the California Department of Transportation, caltrans.gov. This represents a $1 billion increase, or 6% compared to the 2024-2025 budget. They've got $18.7 billion. I think that's more money than Fraser Bohm's family has, and yet we're not putting eyes on them. Come on now. Yeah, that's wild. So I think it's fair if we're going to talk about, you know, I think there was like a viral video trashing Fraser called People That Rich Wrong or something like that. And I said, maybe you should change it to Cities That Rich Wrong, because California, I think they make a lot of money from taxpayer dollars. And like, they're saying this is their number one priority, and like what has been done here. So, okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. I will catch you on the next one. If you have questions, make sure you're following me on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube, all the places. I'm, like I said, I'm Little Miss Jacob everywhere. And my company is called creatorgenius.com. So if you know anybody, a dentist, anybody that needs social media that doesn't want to handle it, that's what we do. We make short form clips to grow people's social media. And I will catch you on the next one, guys. I'm going to play my little outro song, because when I play it at the beginning, people get mad because they're like, okay, get to the point. But I really like my little music. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.
She is fierce, takes the drama, cuts it clear. This is the Little Miss Jacob Show. Bullies beware, she'll take you down in a thread, you know. Play it cool, keep it calm, let the rhythm flow. Climbing high while they're stuck down below. No shortcuts, no cheats, she's here to win. Every comeback's fire, let the games begin. Watch the moves unfold. Every word's a strike, every line is gold. Take your shot. But she's 10 steps ahead. Every headline reads the thread she just said. It's the rhythm of the bold, the beat of the free, the sound of ambition, the way it should be. Step by step, let the groove take control. Turn the highs and lows into pure gold. This is the show. This is the vibe. The Little Miss Jacob groove is alive. And though she be but little, she is fierce. Cuts through the noise with words that pierce. It's not just wit, it's how you move. Every challenge fuels the groove. It's the rhythm of the bold, the beat of the free, the sound of ambition, the way it should be. Step by step, let the groove take control. Turn the highs and lows into pure gold. This is the show. This is the vibe. The Little Miss Jacob groove is alive. doubt, she'll flip the whole route. This is the Little Miss Jacob Show, where the real ones rise and the rest lay low.